Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Such a beautiful, beautiful day, a Friday. I'm looking outside and it's kind of cloudy. I'm looking at snow. I don't know. It's not really snow. Very little bitty balls, like beads falling out of the sky. In the clouds, well, I see some bright spots and I see some dark spots. The dark and bright, they really look good, except, when we see clouds like that, we think some danger might be somewhere lurking. But notwithstanding, it seems kind of nice. And considering the season is changing, a few moments ago I was talking to you and snow was everywhere. But now as I look outside, I can see green grass growing in here and there, all the places around except in the streets. Streets still got potholes. They're going to work on that, I hope. And the pine trees and other trees, I guess the buds, they're kind of slow coming. But it seems as if everything is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's like order. The season, it has changed. We see changes. Changes that represent a different season. And it reminds me of us, we the people, the thing that's so takes all of my time. Thinking about ways that we can enjoy life, or should I say the ways that I can enjoy life. Now, I'm assuming that most of the ways that I can enjoy life are some of the same ways that you would enjoy life. But I'm not trying to cause anything that I would want to enjoy life that would cause you pain to be made manifest. And if it were to exist just to satisfy me, it definitely would not be accepted by me if it caused you pain. And this is the kind of thing I'd like to think that I am, and wish that everybody else to some degree could understand that. Ladies and gentlemen, I was talking to someone, and there's a time and there's a place. There's a time for the youth and a place. There's a time for the adults and a place. And there's a time for your elders and a place. And sometimes we kind of get mixed up and be in a place that's really not our place. And usually at a time that's inconvenient. And in a situation like that, it's like looking out at what was green grass, but now big patches of ants, hills, or gophers. I mean, gophers got to live too. If they live in the ground, they got to go in the ground. And if it's happened to be in your yard, it's in your yard. But there should be a time and a way that you can make it beautiful. Everybody's happy. You and the gophers and the ants. Now, I might be asking a little much at that. But what keeps me going is that in all that you mean to me, I rolled out of the bed this morning and the telly is on, and there's this young lady that worked with Donald Trump in overturning and stealing the election from the American people. She was, I think, in the interview I saw today, I heard, she was on the phone with Donald Trump and the Secretary of State, Rothenberger of Georgia, when Trump was trying to convince him to be a thief. Didn't work. Can you imagine this president of the United States and down there in Georgia talking to a leader, a representative of the people, who he has taken an oath. I take an oath that I will serve you. And based upon the rules and regulations that we have come up with, I'm going to follow these. Because you say, follow these. So I'm going to follow these. And then the president of the United States, the man who you think is the representative up there in the world, like the sun, like the moon, like the stars, count on. He's out there trying to get you to steal against your own people and your oath. And this lady was supposedly on the phone with him. And this morning, that discussion was going on, and they were talking about something new. And the whole project was, well, we couldn't steal that way, so let's come up with another way to steal. And this way, we're going to make sure that we're going to make it as inconvenient as possible for others to vote. And have the system set up so, really, to say it in a short form, so we can run the show in a time and place like this. This is what's going on. It's the same thing. It's the season, I guess. And here we are, going along with this kind of stuff. Republicans, they're not ashamed. Why? They don't know any better. They were raised in hell. Donald Trump doesn't know any better. He was raised in hell. Even Republicans who think they are not that bad, they don't know any better. They were raised in hell. And black people who sit up, and I'm talking about from the darkest one up to the one that's just that close to white, who've been persecuted all your life. You sit there and you take it. Well, you did it because you didn't know any better. How did you know any better? You were raised in hell. You couldn't do nothing about it because you were raised in hell. And you deceived. You think that some of us are better than others. Nope. Nope. There's no in between. We are all in hell. We might have all kind of nice jobs and people say all kinds of things, nice things about us. We're not broke. We're not living on the street. We got a good life. We have money in the bank and we hang around with people who are intelligent, people like we are, you know, our kind. And so we go to the store. We're not suffering for anything that we would desire. So, hey, there's nothing for us to complain about. Well, but I'm living close to a ghetto or something like that. Ooh, can't stand that. And that makes you think better. But the truth of the matter, ladies and gentlemen, is this. You are living in hell. Now I want to tell you something. You ain't going to believe this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. To that person who's living that fantastic life, that person that is the richest person, them billionaires, they profited from systems that have existed. Now, yes, you say life has been good. You give all glory to God. But now it's time for you to pass on, right? Wow. It's time for you to pass on. What do you think now? What do you think? I'm going to tell you this. You ain't going to no heaven. Why? Because you're not fit. You're not fit. You don't know nothing about love, baby. You ain't going to no heaven. So where you going? God loves you. And personally, I have no thoughts that God would throw you in hell. That is the furthest thing from my mind. Except you'll go to a form of hell. A form of hell where you got to go through all of that darn shit that you had watched other people go through that meant nothing to you. You had to go through it, baby. You say, are you talking about reincarnation? All I said is this. You'll have to go through it. Because ain't none of that stuff getting into heaven. You will know. I'm just telling you these kind of things. Have some idea whether you are heavenly bound. Why and how? Because, baby, it'll be all around you. People will know this is heavenly. They're in it. They're making it. But you're finding satisfaction in this crap. Planning the next election, 24, to steal it again for Donald Trump. Doesn't matter what the people say. You know what they were planning when they tried to say everybody in the state run for office and be a thief. They're calling on people to be a thief. Now, what do you think is supposed to happen? These thieves go out there and steal the election again. That means they're expecting you to be their slaves. They're your masters. They took this election away from you. Didn't care what you say. You think they won't shape and put your butt in order? The man who's heading it, he already praises dictators that kill people, that don't take no mess. He one of them. You don't think this is hell? You don't think this is hell? Come on. You know this is hell. Now, my point that I really want to say to you is, how do you get out? I'm not going to try to take much time to say that. How do you get out? Well, you can just die. That's one way. How you die is also important. So let's just leave that alone, that part of it alone, right now, for right now. But what you could do is change. Change from what you have been a part of. Change from what you have been and what you have to assist and enable you to change what you have been a part of. But first you got to change. That goes first. You got to change. And you know what ugliness you've been for all your life. So change that to be the beauty. When you've hated, think about love. And know what love is. Have a definition for love. Don't be just loving your wife or your husband or your chums. And when you do that, you got to be genuine. So you made some serious self-intervention. I mean, you've gone in there. Because this is no game. This is no game. Being changed is like coming into a world with some sense. You know, not like the babies that come in the world. No, they got baby sense. But you come in the world with sense. Grown folks sense. You a baby. And people are talking around you. And you know what they're saying. You understand the language. So you got to be like a baby. Brand new baby. In the middle of this. But you didn't come here ignorant. Like most babies. Have to take 10, 15, 18 years to grow up. You came here with something. To deliver something. So that's why you understand what's being said all around you. That's how, because you brought something, you know what's missing. And the moment you're able to start talking, and you're speaking out. You're speaking out. And you're speaking again. I mean, you might do miracles and stuff, but you're speaking against something that is hurting others. And you didn't come here to enjoy and find some comfort. You didn't come here to be somebody, except to come here to serve. You came here to bring a message. To tell the folk they're in hell. To let them know that they were tricked. And they can get out of it if they trust another. But godly boy. But since you don't know that what somebody's telling you, what I'm telling you, is truth, then you're going to have to do it with faith. Faith. That means that I don't know it, but I believe it. And so because I believe it, I'm just going to step in that day anyway. See, faith is jumping in a, say, I never swam before in my life, and jumping in a river, knowing that you're going to be able to swim out. You believe that whatever power is required in order to bring you out of that, it's going to bring you out of that. And you know what you do? You jump in there. And sometimes you come out. Ain't that something? That's faith. That's faith. Sometimes you come out, sometimes your butt get good. Hey, there, you'll come out somewhere. But what I'm saying to you, when somebody asks you, say, you know, you're standing on earth, do you believe in God? Or do you believe, they might ask you some old stuff that you know it would take a God to do. And they know if you said it, you have to be out of your mind. So you would say like, well, this is what I know. Oh, let's refine it a little bit. Do you believe that Jesus was born of a virgin? Now you might say, well, I tell you what, you asked me if I believed. Well, I don't really have to spend too much time on that because the things that I deal with in life is not predicated on some belief system, especially that. Then they say, well, how can I trap you? I mean, well, let me ask you this. Do you believe he's the Son of God? Ooh-wee. Then you have to stop and think for a moment. And you said just like this. I don't know. But based upon what I do know, it's definitely possible. That's good enough. It's definitely, based upon what you know, it's definitely possible. Why? That means the things I've seen done, that's whoever's responsible for this can do anything. Now, let me see the other. I didn't mean to talk this long. Ooh, I've been talking 16 minutes. Let me see. Oh, they talk about stealing. I talk about, oh yeah. So here's what's happening in the hell you're in, ladies and gentlemen. Like I just got through telling you, the Republicans, that's all out there with Trump and all those people trying to get down to steal the election and stuff like that, they do this. They don't know any better because they were born in hell. People who accept this and the victims of this stuff, they do it because they don't know any better. They are all born in hell just like everybody. Everybody down here born in hell. All the preachers down here born in hell. If these people, the only people, everybody down here is in hell. But the ones that are trying to get out of here are those that's telling you about love. Those that have come to know what love is and start acting love. Now you tell them, they will be known by their fruits. They will be known, their evidence will speak for them. I've been telling you about heaven for 40 years. I've run for office and stuff. I've done all that kind of stuff. You ignored me totally. You didn't kill me, but you totally ignored me. And so as far as most of you guys are concerned, I don't even exist. And the fact that I got all these videos out here, you look at them and say, nobody's been paying attention. He didn't even exist. But for all these years, I've been telling you the absolute truth. But, and the evidence of it is that I'm still here. I got the evidence. I got the evidence that I've been telling you. I got the evidence that I've done some things, you know, like going to jail and prison and stuff like that. I've gone against the system. But to what avail? That stuff was not on me. My job is not to force you. My job is just to do amongst you. And the going to jail stuff didn't change you. Sitting up here talking is all I got, except going back to jail. And I'm not finna go back to jail just to be going to jail. I mean, if I thought it would do any good, I'd go to jail in a heartbeat. But I learned my lesson. That ain't you. So the only thing it seems to me that's going to turn to help wake you up is going to be something similar to the flood that they talk about in the Bible. You know, Noah's Ark, whether you believe it or not, it's going to have to be something similar to that. Because the devil has whipped the people on earth down here. You are whipped, whipped, whipped. You got to be whipped. Sitting up there, half of the nations got this, one of the worst spokesmen, worst advocates, speaking nothing but for hell, running for president. And you watch, you turn the TV on. You're going to see them, especially on those cable stations and those, internet stations. Man, they're going to be talking about that guy all the time. He's running, da-da-da. And every now and then they might say, oh, but he's a crook, you know, he did this. But he's running, he's the top lot, he's in. I'm thinking to myself, if nothing else was happening, but what you know about this situation and what is going on right now, that would be enough to tell you you are in hell. Now, let me say this one last thing, and then I'll go. If you were born again, you would let's say everybody went to bed tonight, and tomorrow you wake up, you're born again. I put it in some of these other words. Tomorrow you wake up, you woke. You have one thing in mind, and that is changing the way things are. And you would be willing to play a major role in that change by not accepting anything of the status quo in relationship to changing from hate and evil to love. Nah, you would make sure that every last, we're making sure now, I'm not talking about you. Man, you're not making sure that anybody else is doing anything. But you just yourself, which is all of us, would care for others because we're born again. We'd have that love for us, for one another. And we would know what needs to be done. And every last one of us would choose a role that we would play in keeping it going on. Yeah, baby. And we choose that role that would give us our greatest joy. And Lord have mercy, as long as the resources are here given by that power we can't see, then we got no excuse. We want, we need, we desire. Here we going, baby, thinking that we got the ability to do what we can do. And there's an abundance of it and nobody suffers or lack of anything. And we can live in peace, be prosperous and free, joy and happy in our lives. And don't just be dreaming about a life. We're living that dream. My God. Ooh-wee. That's what you would be doing if you were born again. But you're not born again. You sitting here talking about Donald Trump, talking about Republicans, talking about Democrats trying to get Joe Biden. Joe Biden is old, but they know that he's probably one of the best hopes of fighting off this devil that America has. And so, because there ain't no young buck out there filled with a compassion and an understanding, a new vision, and people like him because he's been doing that likable stuff. So he'll go in just to try to say he can maintain. But see, maintaining, what is maintaining doing? Waiting for tomorrow when maintaining wore out and you're going to get your butt whipped. So I'm saying, you know, my efforts is basically to say it's time for us to be born again. And if it takes being born again to create heaven in America or on earth, then damn right. Let's get born again. Born again. They talk about, wait a minute now. You heard what I just got through saying about born again. I left nothing out. Everybody. Nobody's above another. Nobody's under another. Because I know there are some people who try to trick you. They're coming here talking about a God that's the biggest devil you ever heard of. A God that loves them. That puts them in power. That makes them the leaders because we, the rest of us are too dumb and stupid. That's a God, that's the God, but now that's the God of that other world. That's that God of hell. That's that God that God is left behind because what? We're born again. Born again. What about losing that? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this opportunity. I know you kind of bored and have nothing to do to sit and listen to me this long with me ripping and rambling as I have. But I promise you, everything I ramble on is factual and is spiritually true. Until next time, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.